Now, before I end this session, I want to take a few more moments to talk on a special topic, which is Hadoop on virtualization and cloud. In the previous section, I explained how Hadoop is always deployed as a multi-node cluster on bare metal servers. Well, it's a recurrent question. Can we deploy Hadoop on virtual infrastructure or cloud? Now, before I answer that question, it is important to understand the core principles behind the Hadoop design. The Hadoop framework is a highly intelligent and self-sustained system. It has mechanisms for storage and system resource allocation and even tasks and resource scheduling. It also has mechanisms for rack awareness where Hadoop can make informed decision on where to store data or where to launch a job depending on the physical location of the server or what it calls closeness of the server in the Hadoop cluster. Now, in order to perform these tasks, it is important that there be minimum abstraction layers between the Hadoop application and its underlying hardware resources. This gives Hadoop fairly larger control over these resources, which is key to its performance and its ability to manage big data. Now, on a side note, an abstraction layer in IT is basically any software layer that abstracts the complexities of its underlying layer and provides it as a simplified interface to its overlying layer. The best example is your operating system, which basically abstracts the underlying system hardware like CPU, RAM, or network cards and provides it as a simplified interface to its overlying user applications like MS Office, web browsers, etc. Virtualization and cloud are nothing but advanced layers of abstraction. Virtualization abstracts a physical implementation into a virtual resource pool that is easy to manage and allocate to higher level services. Using virtualization, you can launch multiple virtual servers on a single physical machine. The virtualization layer then takes care of all the complex scheduling and multiplexing of the underlying hardware resources amongst the overlying virtual servers. Now, cloud is an even more advanced implementation, which abstracts a collection of virtualized hardware and storage resources, computing platforms, and even applications into an highly available on-demand shared pool of configurable computing items. Now, there can be no doubts about the advantages provided by these advanced layers of abstraction. For starters, computing resources become easier to manage. Again, these resources are utilized more efficiently due to multiplexing and multiprocessing. Virtual servers can be easily cloned or backed up. Also, resources can be allocated on demand within minutes, and so on. However, all these advantages come at a cost. The cost being decreased control over your underlying resources. When you use cloud or virtualization, you severely limit the control over how your data would be moved or stored on the underlying physical servers. This has significant implications on Hadoop as it can no longer control the physical location of data. Again, most cloud providers would not expose their internal physical topology, which would defeat the rack awareness feature of Hadoop. Then there is another factor of induced delays and overheads due to additional layers of abstraction. The more software layers you have, the more processing has to happen at each layer. Also, most cloud infrastructures would use network storage technologies, which is again not at all recommended for Hadoop. Unless your network storage links are upgraded and configured to deal with big data loads, they would create bottleneck and affect performance. Having said all this, let me get back to my original question. Can we implement Hadoop on virtualization and cloud? Well, the answer is yes, we can, provided we correctly provision and optimize our virtual platform for Hadoop. Usually such implementations require meticulous configurations. The configurations should be a bargain between the advantages and disadvantages provided by these abstraction layers. Also, these abstraction layers should allow some levels of visibility into the underlying resources. One good approach is to configure explicit disk mappings to control where the virtual servers store their data. Also, vendors like VMware provide advanced big data extensions or BDE to their virtual platform that would optimize them for Hadoop usage. It is true that Hadoop was designed to work on bare metal servers. However, today there are several cloud and virtualized solutions to implement Hadoop. You just need to recognize the limitations and see if it is acceptable to your requirements. Today, distributions like Amazon Elastic MapReduce and Microsoft Azure HD Insight are some of the well-known cloud implementations of Hadoop. These vendors have been able to successfully integrate the Hadoop platform with their existing cloud infrastructure and provide Hadoop as a cloud service to the clients. Now, these virtualized implementations can be said to provide an easy and cost-effective way for industries to try out Hadoop before moving into a more permanent bare metal infrastructure. Now, for those of you who are looking for more information on this, can go through this article on wiki.apache.org, which basically answers the same question. I'll include this link in the description below. Now we have reached the end of session 2. In the next session, we will be starting with the Hadoop storage layer, which is the HDFS. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.